Equity have won an award. They are our newest union membership that we've got on board. They are a union for performing arts, creatives, actors and actresses. The award that they've won is for the website that we recently created for them. It's the best organisational and communication tool. It was mainly scored on things such as accessibility, making sure that members can find relevant information, advice and support quickly and easily. One of the main themes of the award was looking at UX and how we make the website more accessible and easy to consume for users. Seeing as you worked on the design, Jack, would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
When thinking about the user experience, we wanted to really elevate that on this site and create something that's not only engaging but also more user-friendly for the user. And one of the main ways to do this was by optimizing the content structure.
From the UX point of view, you're looking at the different types of people that come to the site and using it for very different purposes. Yeah. So you've got people that are not yet part of Equity but want to be, and how they find that information, what Equity is, what can Equity do for you, what are the benefits of joining, versus those that are already members coming back to the site time and time again and making sure that we're offering fresh, engaging content.
There's certain aspects to focus on: organising the content well and creating a clear hierarchy. It allows a user, when they're on the page, to be able to scan over the page and find what they want and not have to spend too long before they get bored and drop off. It makes it more likely for the user to engage with the content on the site.
I think that was a big challenge for you and the design team when it comes to call to actions, because there are so many decisions to make depending on why you're there. It's how you differentiate those call to actions, where you have them on the page.
One of the main call to actions on the site probably is to get people to join. And there's a lot of questions and a lot of things that they need to gather at Equity to sort of allow you to sort of complete your application. Like, not just anyone's allowed to join Equity, and it's making sure they gather that information, but making sure they do it in a way that the user's able to complete that form and doesn't feel like it's sort of obstructive to them.
It's showing them the different options they have when they sign up at the beginning is an important point, because we don't want the user to begin a journey and then to drop off later on because they're being presented with options that they don't want.
I think, and one of the things we've added on that as well, we've added like you can save now and then you can kind of return to it, whereas previously you sort of had to finish your application there and then. Now we sort of encourage them to save and then they can sort of kick off where they left off.
And I think that's just an overarching aspect to the whole site, making that information easily and readily available so that they're not caught out and they can continue their journey without any kind of nasty surprises or without getting bogged down by the noise which can be found on some quite lengthy processes.
With the new site build, Equity also had the opportunity to refine and improve that joining process. So Stu, you'll know a little bit about this and can tell us more, but how do we make it better? How can we improve? And there's certain things that you've put in place to make it easier and quicker for that joining process to take place.
The process had to remain largely the same because we weren't changing the kind of back-end systems. They have an existing CRM system that we weren't replacing, we weren't updating. As part of this kind of drive to make it more usable, we had to, we put in place things to kind of get that same information that they always required, but make it easier for those users to enter that information and to gather that information.
I think priority number one for Equity, and it was one of the reasons they've won this award, it had to be an AA rating from an accessible point of view. You have to make sure things are accessible from a colour point of view, navigation point of view, but also the functionality, the join process had to be accessible too.
You not only want to make something that's visually engaging, you want to make something that's inclusive and is usable by everyone. There's a number of things that you can look at, from colour contrast ratio, which was a big one because there's some bold colours on there. All sorts really, alt text, so screen readers can pick up on the images. There's lots to go into it, and we made sure that we did our best to optimise all areas of the accessibility.
In development, we need to take that design and we sort of implement that reality. That's a requirement. We need to do that, and it's really important to kind of go through that process and go through all those checks and all that additional work to make sure it is accessible.
Yeah. Accessibility is important in any website and should be taken seriously. Whilst we have achieved a AA standard in accessibility on this site, it's something we'll continue to monitor and something we'll always look to improve on with and standards changing and always wanting to be inclusive.
One of the main challenges from the accessibility point of view is at the very beginning when they came to us with a brief, they already have an award-winning magazine that holds all of the styling design that we see on the website today. How do we translate that into web and maintain that accessibility rating and kind of transpose details from the print side to digital?
A lot of the problems around going from sort of print to a web space is that print's fixed, static, whereas a website, it's dynamic. It can be on different devices. It can be on a mobile, it can be on a tablet. The website needs to know how to sort of scale and move around those different sizes and sort of maintain itself.
It's one of the reasons that they won the award was presentation. So it wasn't just the functionality, it was also the visual aspect of it. And rather than your kind of standard corporate look and feel, they've gone for a very contemporary, bold colour palette, which will help them get that visibility.
Yeah, so it stands out from the crowd.
So we always make sure when we hand over to clients that we are helping them and showing them how to use the tools to the best ability, whether that's design improvements, whether it's continuous development. We'll keep moving things along and improving things over time. So part of the criteria for the award was how the unions look after their current and existing members. So obviously we've revamped the whole My Account area. What ways do you feel that has been improved and how they organise and communicate with current members?
Yeah, so a lot of work went into making that side of things really easy to use. So we've done a lot of things on the UX side where there's a nice nav bar on the side within the My Account. It's easy to find what you want to find. And again, we've done a lot of work to sort of split it out into the right places and make it sort of easy for the customers to kind of find what they want and do what they need to do.
A nice point was the sidebar, really utilising that and putting in concise information that just allows the user to find what they need more easily without having to scan through the whole page, just calling out the bits that they need.
And as well as the sort of membership functions that we've brought in, we've done a lot of stuff where a lot of their content is private, so only the members can see, and that flow is quite nice now. If you're not logged in, you try to go to a private page, you get that login screen. Once you log in, it remembers where you're trying to get to and takes you straight there. And then once you're logged in, you can then navigate that sort of members' private area a lot more easily.
Instead of having to field a lot of troubleshooting from members, it's a lot clearer. They shouldn't have to have as many questions and queries come in from members looking for certain things.
Yeah. Another big pain point for Equity on their old site was their search system. It just didn't work. Members couldn't find content they wanted to find. So a lot of work was put in on the search to make it visually nice, but from the technology point of view, we've migrated everything into Azure Search, so it's on a sort of stable, well-known platform, and it's fast. Like, they can find what they want really quickly. There's no sort of waiting on that sort of to return the results or anything. It's fast, it's efficient, and it's easy to sort of visually see that.
I don't think it came to us as a surprise that Equity won this award. I think all the hard work the team put in has really come to fruition. I think they've been a pleasure to work with, and we're really looking forward to expanding that partnership and moving the union forward.